Lesson 13, Group 7, Understanding Sexual Harassment. Learning objectives. At the end of this lesson, the students will be able to understand fully the various theoretical perspectives on sexual harassment, distinguish the various perspectives on sexual harassment from each other, and understand the laws of the Philippines on sexual harassment in the academy and in workplace. The abstraction of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment are recognized as a form of discrimination on the grounds of sex and thus are contrary to the principle of equal treatment between men and women. Nomhauser, Henning, and Laulum, 2012. In the Philippines, Republic Act No. 7877 or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 defines work education or training-related sexual harassment is committed by an employer, employee, manager, supervisor, agent of the employer, teacher, instructor, professor, coach, trainer, or any other person who having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another in a work or training or education environment, demands, requests, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other, regardless of whether the demand, request, or requirement for submission is accepted by the object of said act. Theoretical perspectives of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment cannot be understood from the perspective of a single theory, but it is always a combination of different predictors. Previous researchers have looked at sexual harassment using a number of frameworks, including organizational approach, feminist theory, role theory, and attributional models of sexual harassment. However, all these models share common basic assumptions and can be labeled as sociocultural models of sexual harassment. Sheets and Braver, 1999. There have been 5 widely accepted theories of sexual harassment that attempt to explain the phenomenon from different angles and perspectives. So here's the first one, the natural biological theory. One study showed that people who commit crimes have less activity in the part of the brain responsible for arousal and fear. The theory rather is that they feel less fear of consequences and so they act out in responsible ways. So kani siya diri is not meant to be offensive or discriminatory, but naa ang pagpamugos because men have stronger sex drives. They seek sexual pleasure to women. Nabuhat ni siya just because they influenced by social, emotional, and environmental factors such as loneliness or stress.
So number 2, so maingon tag 6 roles lovers theory is the 6 roles lover theory of the sexual harassment content the harassment area when man view female working more as a woman as a professional. Pasabot ang sexual harassment mahitabo kung ang mga lalaki tan-awon ang mga babae sa trabaho isip nga babae lang dili isip nga professional tungod kini sa mga traditional sa mga trabaho like kanang mga sanutan nila is mo na sila ang ginatanaw jud nato as a lalaki. So dira na as tanaw pa lang daan guys is makita jud nato dira ang mo na jud sa na ginaharasan nato sila like ginatanaw lang atong gamit guys pero paano na siya harassment na siya sa kababae mawala na ilang dignidad. 3. Organization theory. Organization theory explains sexual harassment as a result of organization structure and culture that permit or encourage it, particularly through a power imbalance and hierarchical structure and male dominant norms. Morning pasabot ani guys, ang sexual theory daw guys or organization theory is maoning nag-explain sa din ang power imbalance kay in a meaning ni example abuse, workplace, relationship, ang hierarchical structure kay nagapasabot sa organization like CEO or manager. Din ang male dominant norms kay nagapasabot po siya sa expectation na ginabutang ang mga lalaki sa itaas like dapat sila ma-in charge or more power pa sila. Ano siya pasabot sa organization theory. Number 4, socio-cultural theory. Socio-cultural theory like kanang ang mga lalaki assertive sila which mean magiging confident ba sa expression or feeling, and also sa mga lalaki pod kay then aggressive pod. Example, pagiging forceful, nakaigsulto or nakakayamot or nalain ba para makuha niya ang gusto. And ang mga babae pod kay dapat pod sila sibra pod sila means hilom ra pod mainhin, ang dapat ginaunan nila ang lain kaysa silang sarili. Isa pa ang pagiging submissive. So mao to sa ang socio-cultural theory. Number 5, benefits theory. So yun na kanay para sa inyo guys. Mo ni sila ang mga to masabtan nganong dili patas ang trato sa lalaki o babae. Gusto pod nila ipaglaban ang katungod sa mga babae. Ano lang kadali guys, ipaglaban nila kung unsa ilang katungod. Ngana lang.
So these are the following form of sexual harassment are committed through. First is physical harassment. Is any unwanted, offensive, or violent physical contact or action that creates a hostile, intimidating, or unsafe environment for another person. So as you can see in the picture, kanang physical harassment nga pasabot nga adunay dili gusto nga like kanang magpagunit, kanang gihadlok nimo siya or gipasakitan nimo siya nga dili siya komportable. That is called physical sexual harassment. Saya no nga pagka-istorya kung naay physical nga gibuhat, as you can see in the picture nga dili komportable ang babae nga gunitan siya sa lalaki nga wala siya gipahintulutan nga gunitan siya kay nagpahimo ang sa katao nga mahadlok or malain ang gibati. That is called physical, basta mga physical sexual harassment, basta kanang mga lihok nga dili gud komportable sa katao nga imong gibuhat sa iyaha, like nagunit-gunit ka, gipasakitan nimo siya or gihadlok nimo siya. Next is verbal sexual harassment. Is any unwelcome sexual language or behavior that is sexual in nature, offensive, and can make someone feel uncomfortable, humiliated, or intimidated. It's like involve unwanted words or comments that are sexual in nature. For like example, that nakay kaila or classmate nga hilig kaayo magbuhat-buhat og mga inappropriate jokes or comment about sa ilahang kinakalaban nga body shamer sila, nga ginalibak gud nila. Mao na ang tawag nga, mao na ang pasabot sa verbal sexual harassment. Or like nag-make sila inappropriate jokes or comment about someone's body or appearance. Use of objects. This refers to the use of object, pictures, graphics, letters, or written notes that have sexual underpinning. It's like this happens when someone uses pictures or drawings, letters, or messages with sexual meaning. Like for example, that a person sends or shows another person a photo, video, or drawing that is sexual or offensive without their consent. Kana mag-send sila mga pictures or video nga wala good consent sa usa ka tawo, kana murag maka-offend sila sa isa ka tawo nga ginahimo nila katawanan. So that is use of object nga naghatag og sexual meaning. Lastly is the other forms analogous to the foregoing refers to the unlisted items, acts, or situations that are similar in nature, function, or underlying principles to the specific examples or descriptions that immediately precede this phrase in the text. So for example, na ay boss nga iyang insulto ang iyang coworker nga nakabuhat lang siya kanang gamay nga mali, wala niya hibalo kung unsa siya nitabo, like directly lang siya nga ginsulto niya o giyaw-yawan ang iyang coworker. It is example of other forms analogous acts. Kanang mga act good nga dapat hibaluon jud nimo ang tinuod, dili kay magyaw-yaw lang kadayon without knowing sa perspective sa isa ka tao, like makapakasakit ka sa iyaha kanang directly lang nimo siyang insultohon. That is called other form of analogous act. So this is where we end our presentation that talk about sexual harassment or understanding sexual harassment, that define covers all unwanted sexual behavior, physical, verbal, or non-verbal, that create a hostile or uncomfortable environment. So, nag-explain kami kagaina o naghatag ng mga examples about sexual harassment. Also, we tackle about the following form of sexual harassment and their examples. So, akong balikon ang example sa mga sexual harassment, like someone repeatedly flirts, stares, or send inappropriate messages online or in person, making another person feel unsafe or pressured.